All right, y'all. Today we're gonna look at this boudoir photography business, see if they have BSS with their local or their city Google search here in Vacaville, California. And back here in the GBC universe, we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, FSIC is our North Star, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video, wherever. It's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our full spectrum intent capture here in white. Got our highest intent peeps over on the left. There's people using social search, Google search, looking for a boudoir photo shoot in their city today. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent people, and we deal with those with our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS, and we're currently only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. But here, these videos talk about BSS. And BSS is boudoir search sameness. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google. Both are terrible. If we got 0 slots page 1 on Google, that means we're page 2 or deeper. And we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2, which means 80% of people, they're page 1 only searches, which means page 1 is the only place that matters. Page 2 and deeper, we're basically dead. 1 slot. If we got 1 slot on page 1 Google, that ain't enough. And that ain't enough because everyone else has got 1 slot as well. Some people may have 2. And so we're going to be, price shop to death. Buyers just going to go down, hit each link, open up their website, contact them, price shop, negotiate, price shop. And, just the killer for every boudoir photography business. Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. It's extremely common. Everyone accepts it as normal, but it's not. There's 2 deeper root causes: market saturation, which basically everyone knows about, and then the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, people get a new iPhone, get a new camera, get new gear. They throw up their Google Maps profile, saying they shoot boudoir. They throw up their website, saying they shoot boudoir, compete on page 1 for the high intent keywords with us. And they also they also come in, through like COVID. That was like big market saturation. People lost their jobs, but everyone has a smartphone with awesome cameras. So a ton of new boudoir photographers came through. And, that's more sellers for the same number of buyers makes it harder for every seller to win, every individual seller to win. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality, this is an interesting one because from what I've discovered seems like nearly all boudoir photographers kind of accept that, I don't know, each boudoir photographer should either get 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google, and however the dice falls, that's simply what it is. Maybe they have 1 slot page 1, then someone new came in, ranked their website higher, they got, and it pushed them off to page 2, and it's like, okay, well, that's simply how it is, and that's how it is. But in fact, we've discovered that Google will actually give as many page 1 slots as someone wants to put in the effort to acquire. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google to 9 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google page 1 in only 10 days using this new strategy that we developed, that you'll see in 2 pictures here. Now, boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. So if we're on we got 0 slots on page 1, we're on page 2 or deeper, and we're missing, approximately 80% of searches never even seeing us. Yeah, we're definitely disappearing boudoir photographer. If we got 1 slot on page 1, we're still invisible. We're disappearing boudoir photographer. And this is kind of the first sign, the canary in the coal mine, the blinking warning light telling us that, basically telling us that our boudoir photography business is on the path to disappearing once this happens. So this is our micro universe here. Disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and page 1 equality. There's a false belief of page 1 equality. But thankfully, finally, we have a solution. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, S-cubed methodology. And the way it works is right in the name, social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest intent buyer, boudoir buyer keywords to show up there. And when we do show up there, we're dominating social search. That's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains down in South America, where the snow is melting. It's flowing into small, flowing into small streams, small rivers, and eventually at the end it flows into the Amazon River. That Amazon River is page one of Google, but we first got to get the snow and the small rivers, small streams first. The inputs, that's saturating social search. And what's awesome about SQ methodology is this is the only thing that I've seen for boudoir photographers that can allow a boudoir photography business to continue to grow in the face of market saturation in a reasonable time, and successfully compete against market saturation. The only other thing that I've seen that can do it obviously is a brand, massive well-known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years to actually acquire. We ain't got 5 to 10 years anymore, dude. We got AI coming, taking people's jobs, gonna force more people to be, into the photography market as photographers. We don't have time to rely 5 to 10 years to create a brand anymore. But now, an example of how SQ methodology, still can allow boudoir photography business to grow in the face of massive market saturation. Let's say got 1 million boudoir photographers in Topeka, Kansas, and we're one of them. Everyone's got their website saying they do boudoir, and as a result, we are actually now competing against, we got 999,999 other competitors. And so competition is super fierce on page one of Google. So we crank up SQ methodology to the max. And let's say dude, we're able to get the first 300 slots for like all the highest intent keywords across all social media search platforms. And let's say as a result, that flows onto Google, and let's say we got the first 300 slots on Google as well. And there's 10 slots per organic slots per page on Google, so we're taking up the first 30 pages. A buyer literally basically needs to go to page 31 to essentially find any of our competitors. Same if they search anywhere in social media as well. We're taking up all those first 300 slots. So whose business is growing in this case? Ours. Why? Because we're basically the only ones seen anywhere. We're seen. Everywhere someone searches, we're there taking up all the slots. And so, even though there's massive market saturation, we're still the business that's growing, and everyone else is disappearing, slowing down, shrinking, going away. So that's the magic of SQ methodology. Next, once treated with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. And so, we got the first initial benefit, which is more page one slots. The second initial benefit is every new slot we take on page one, we actually are kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. Because now we know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two. So we're making them invisible to, 4 out of every 5 people, approximately 80% of the market, the bulk of the market. And we're getting like double, triple, quadruple the exposure. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So this is where the GBC recommended minimum of 3 slots comes in, because basically everyone else is going to have 1 slot. Our 3 slots going to dominate them. And there's also going to be a small chance someone could have 2 slots, but we're going to dominate them as well because we got 3. And that's what BSV means. And boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, VBP. So it's our micro universe. We got a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and, most importantly, the false belief of page one inequality, which we now know is false, which we'll see my results with it, proving it false in the next picture. Finally, thankfully, thank the universe, we finally got the solution, S-cubed methodology. We achieve page one visibility, we become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. All right, dude, so now my results using S-cubed methodology for myself. So I want to rank for the, you can see right here, the words BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page one Google for these words. So I purely used my S-cubed methodology. Come down here to the organic slots here. So I start with 0 slots on page one. And here we go. First organic slot, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page one in Google to 9 out of 10 slots page one on Google in only 10 days, exclusively utilizing S-cubed methodology. So now main event here, we're going to look at this boudoir photographer of Vacaville, California. I might have to copy this, bring it over if I don't have the tab up. So we're going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for their local and city search. Actually, their local and city search is actually the same in this case. All right. There's a Vacaville. All right, so going at the organic. Nope. 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 There we go. We got one. And let's see. Nope. 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 All right, so we got 1 out of 10. So, in Vacaville, where is this place? Stockton. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's between San Fran and Sacramento. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 slots for Vacaville, California. So yes, we do have BSS, or this boudoir photography business does have BSS, boudoir search sameness, and we have not met the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page one slots on Google. And that's recommended because, dude, if we're 3 out of 10 local and 3 out of 10 local search, 3 out of 10 city search, page one, we can basically guarantee we're not disappearing. We're either treading water or we're growing, most likely growing. That's why we want to hit 3 out of 10. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done the local search for the highest intent keywords in your city that buyers would be searching, you're seeing, you've got BSS at the local level or the city level or both, or, you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots on page one Google organic search, then, so you're seeing you got BSS and you're seeing S-cubed methodology is the one solution for you, the one path forward. And, you want more slots on page one. You also want the extra bonus of kicking out competitors from page one, because now for approximately 80% of searchers, you won't be compared against them. The more we can kick off competitors off page one, the better. And you want to use S-cubed methodology because the false belief of page one equality is exactly that, the false belief. You know that Google actually wants to and will give as many number one slots to whoever wants to put in the effort to take them. You understand market saturation, get new phones, market's getting saturated more, boudoir photographers get new camera, saturating boudoir photographers more. And you're also seeing into the future where AI is going to be taking more and more people's jobs. It's just going to be pushing more and more boudoir photographers into the market over time, or at least pushing more people to become boudoir photographers into the market over time because it's higher ticket. And look, everyone's got an amazing camera attached to their phone. So if you're seeing that and you realize, man, you want the initial benefits, but you also want the fortification benefits of S-cubed methodology to basically have a higher momentum wall of any new to market boudoir photographers from ranking on page one, taking those slots away from you. And so you're seeing all that. You want these kind of initial benefits. You want to achieve page one visibility. You want to become a visible boudoir photographer. You you want to achieve boudoir search visibility because you know you need all those things to be the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you also want these extra few backend bonuses as well, which is kind of the more you successfully execute S-cubed methodology, the more we're building up kind of these invisible thematic keyword columns kind of attached to our brand, attached to our social accounts, attached to our name, our business name, kind of building up these invisible spokes connecting to our central hub that are building up the mindshare for us in the minds of AI search. So every day we successfully execute S-cubed methodology, and those all those initial benefits, then the extra backend benefit of higher chance we're the only one recommended here on AI Overview, premium placement above all other options. For every day we execute S-cubed methodology correctly, and higher chance we are recommended via AI search, which is, basically ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Kind of, we're building up this brain space momentum in the back end in AI's, AI brain for a higher chance they recommend us through AI search with all these platforms. Because, we'll eventually build up enough invisible thematic keyword columns connected to us, which is what AI loves. And so backend benefits with that. And also, the final backend benefit is every day we do this, we are pulling away from current boudoir photographers, building up all these initial benefits and the momentum to the future benefits, the domination of AI search. So remember last time I searched for boudoir photographers in a city, it recommended me 3, but I actually went and searched on my own, and there's like 60. So we're getting the initial benefits, page 1, kicking people off page 1, so they're no longer findable. We are increasing mindshare for AI in the back end, for AI Overview, Google search, and all traditional AI search recommending us as well. And we actually, the more action we take now to separate us from current competitors and future competitors, the more momentum we build up, the harder and harder it'll be for anyone to catch us. Because right now my plan is to only work with 1 boudoir photographer per city, which means we won't be, all the competitors will be left in the dust. But conversely, if you're seeing all that, you decide you're going to be the first mover of your city. Conversely, if a competitor moves first, then we'll be making all the initial benefits and future momentum towards future benefits with them. And you'll actually have to rederive or derive for the first time your own S-cubed methodology, figure out how to do it yourself. And then you have to go execute it, which you will not be 100% confident in because you will not know if you've successfully derived it for yourself, yes or no. You'd have to equal our execution to maintain the gap of yourself and me and your competitor. And you'd actually have to outwork us by 2 or 3x to, basically close the gap, pull back the brain space momentum, those invisible thematic keyword columns from AI that's going to your competitor back to you. And dude, who's got the time? There's only 24 hours in the day. How are you going to outcompete us when I invented this? So if you know you want all that, then shoot me a DM. You want to be a first mover in your city? Shoot me a DM when my DM's open for new patient intake. My DMs are currently not open for new patient intake. But when I do open my DMs for new patient intake, send me a message and we'll see if you qualify to use S-cubed methodology in your business.